Next success story. At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat, but imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Wall Street rallied after the head of the Federal Reserve hinted cuts to interest rates may be coming. The Dow Jones Industrial Average soared, reaching another record. The S&P 500 jumped 1.5%, landing just below the all-time it set last week. The Nasdaq Composite climbed 1.9%. Treasury yields sank in the bond market. That's after Jerome Powell indicated the next move for the Fed may be a cut. Wall Street loves lower rates because they can give a boost to the economy and to investment prices, even if they risk worsening inflation. The Dow is up 846 points today to close at 45,631. The Nasdaq gained 396 to 21,496. The S&P 500 added 96 to 6466. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. On and off rain this evening, followed with a low of 72. Tomorrow, it's more showers throughout the day to go with a mild temperature of the 80 as our high. For Sunday, it's a bit nicer, but still more clouds than sunshine and a high back up to 87. We are dry and a little bit cooler next week. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make the point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network, and happy Friday, happy Founders Federal Football Friday night to you from here on Sports Talk as we dive into the high school football season here in South Carolina, and of course the college football season begins this weekend with that game over in Ireland. Everything will crank up in a big way starting next weekend for the colleges, but tonight, weather permitting, high school football across the state of South Carolina. I know the weather in some parts of the state not so good. I've come to Atlanta tonight at our Atlanta studios. Got a little family deal here this weekend. And so we're coming to you from here tonight for Sports Talk and also for the high school football scoreboard show, which will be coming across the network tonight at 10:05 till midnight. Many of our stations that carry Sports Talk will also have the scoreboard show as well. Of course, everything is available for you on a stream, YouTube, Facebook, audio, the Chief Sports app, SportsTalkSC.com. You can watch the YouTube stream there. So if you can't find us over the airwaves, you can find us on a stream somewhere coming near you. So it's good to have the next phase of football back with us. Last week it was SCISA opening up last Friday. Tonight the high school leagues teams are opening up, again, weather permitting. And then pretty much wrapping up the NFL preseason. A little bit of college football, and then next week it comes at you in a big wave. We have Chris Bergen from the Berge Palace over in Sardis, and the plumber Josh Cohen at our studios back in Columbia. Lee Sterling is going to be joining us here at 6:15. We start rocking and rolling with Lee. Our Sterling picks begin tonight at 6:15. He's only going to pick one game, of course. No. He's going to pick the one college game. But he's got some other things to say looking ahead to South Carolina-Clemson season. He's got some things to say about that. 6:15, David Shelton, 6:35, will preview high school football. 7:05, Darius Gray, the offensive guard from Richmond, Virginia, will be making his announcement, and we'll pick that up when we come back from the top of the hour break. We'll pick that up and carry it from that point to when he makes his announcement. Expected to be South Carolina. And then 7:20, it'll be Jeff Owens in the fast lane. And 7:35, Birdies, Bogies, Biceps with George Bryant on golf as we catch up on what's happening with the PGA, the FedEx Cup Championship. It's not too far from me over at Eastlake. That's sort of like Norcross and somewhere out that way. I've driven by the golf course before. I've never been on the grounds, but I've driven by it, and it's like Norcross and out that way if you can get through the traffic. Woo! I tell you what, when you come on, I know a lot of people when they fly, Bergie, they come off the plane and they need a Xanax. Driving around here, pretty much any time of the day, but driving around here, especially between like 3 and 6, you need to take a whole bottle of Xanax when you get to your location because your nerves are on edge. And they had some big wreck on I-85, which had all the traffic backed up on 285. So anyway, pretty crazy.
Oh, boy.
So ready to rock and roll. And the news out of Columbia today, South Carolina announcing that deal with Nike. So Nike becomes the uniform and shoe provider for South Carolina and some money as well. And looks like a good deal all the way around for South Carolina. Looks to be, as far as I can tell, financially pretty close to what they had with Under Armour. That was $71 million. This seems to be about the same thing over 2 years, running through 2036. So in 2036, when we're here, Bergie, in 2036, doing our 52nd year of Sports Talk,
wow.
What apparel company will South Carolina be signing with, or will they just re-up with Nike as they go along here?
I think at that point in time, Phil, football teams will be using hoverboards, right? You remember Back to the Future, the movie, that was supposed to already be in the mix. So I think we'll all be in hoverboards and you won't need shoes. But yeah, $5 million in cash, $70 million in product, and an additional $2.5 million in supplemental product, whatever that is. So yeah, and plus USC is going to get 15% of royalty on net sales of any Nike merchandise that is labeled with the Gamecock logo on it. So yeah, sounds like a super deal for them.
Yeah. So we'll go into that a little bit more, give you a little more detail. Asia Wilson's got a hand in this thing as well because, you know, Nike has a shoe dedicated to Asia Wilson. She has her own line. So like North Carolina, they've got their Michael Jordan thing. South Carolina, I guess, will have their Asia Wilson thing. I guess, I mean, would you, if you're the men's basketball team, would you wear Asia Wilson shoes? Would you wear the shoes, you know, bearing the – because I think at North Carolina, I think all their programs use the Jordan line, whether it's male, female, that sort of crosses over. What about here? Would you cross over with an Asia Wilson line?
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I don't see why the basketball team would have any issue with it. Now, reading into some of the Asia Wilson integration as part of the contract, it says that, let's see, Nike will also explore Asia Wilson travel and other team gear for USC women's basketball, so it doesn't look like the men's team will be wearing that stuff. But I can't imagine Lamont Paris and them would have a problem. Maybe as long as they're not pink shoes. And, heck, we even see the guys wear pink shoes during, late October and in February. To celebrate and or recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Months. So I don't think teams would have a problem with it at all.
Well, I think they're going to win the football national championship now because I think, you know, there's a certain segment of Gamecock fans who believe the uniforms have held them back, that Under Armour just the cloth, it was too heavy, or the cleats, they didn't stick well. It's cost the Gamecocks several national championships, so they should win the national championship. Nike's going to put the Gamecocks in the Vapor Fuse uniform chassis. Oh, you know what, though? This doesn't go into effect until 26, 27, so they still have to wear the Under Armour this year. Yeah, they're
Under Armour this year. Yeah, but
so no national championship this year.
I just think Under Armour's called a bad rap on this, Phil, because Jadeveon Clowney wore Under Armour. Didn't seem to bother him. Kristen Walker wore Under Armour. Didn't seem to hurt him. Asia Wilson wore Under Armour. Didn't seem to bother her. So, I mean, I think a lot of this is way overblown. I think Gamecock fans look for any reason, any excuse other than you got to have players. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney could have played in bare feet, and he'd have been just fine. I don't think it was because they were wearing Under Armour that they didn't win a national championship during their tenure. And as a matter of fact, they won, 5 national championships, 2 in baseball and 3 in women's basketball in Under Armour. So, and 1 Final Four appearance on the men's side in Under Armour. Didn't seem to bother them those years.
So Under Armour did protect this house.
Indeed, it sure did.
It did protect this house. So here's a little more detail. So the Vapor Fuse uniform chassis for next year, USC football will wear the same chassis worn by the teams in the NFL. Nike will provide USC with elite cleated football silos. Vapor Elite, Alpha Menace, Force Savage, beginning next season. Yeah, I don't know what a silo is. A football silo? That's what it says here, SILOS.
Okay.
They will outfit the women's basketball team in advanced Paris uniform chassis for that next season. The same chassis worn by USA basketball women's national team. Chassis by chassis. Does that mean is that like the actual what you put on your body? Is that called a chassis? Nike will provide USC with a full redesign of its football uniform closet. Okay. Minimum 3 uniforms during the first 4 years of the term. Nike will provide USC with bespoke alternate football uniforms as part of an energy program, including more than 15 elite college football programs during the first half of the term. Okay. I don't understand that at all. Nike designers would lead the redesign of USC's basketball court in the CLA in partnership with USC. They're going to redesign the basketball court then. And upon reasonable advance request, Nike will provide USC and the athletes with access to its state-of-the-art Nike Sports Research Lab out in Beaverton, Oregon. The same thing they show the recruits when they want to get them out there and pay them and show them why they should come to Oregon. The rest of the Nike crowd can go out there and visit that as well. And, of course, now, here's the most important thing. And we got to go to break and get Lee Sterling on the line. Most important thing, Shane Beamer can now participate in the annual summer cruise that Nike puts on for their coaches, that Dabo Swinney goes on every year. So he and Dabo Swinney can become cabin mates on the Nike cruise. They take the families on a cruise, all paid by Nike and da-da-da-da. So, all right, so that's the story on South Carolina and its new apparel provider, Nike. Let's hit the break and get Lee Sterling on the line. Break in Lee for this new football season. Get his thoughts on, who is it, Kansas State and Iowa State?
Iowa State, yep.
Playing over in Ireland, of all places.
They're actually, about 4 or 5 games tomorrow?
Yep. So he'll talk about what he wants to talk about. And then David Shelton will do likewise. And we'll be on top of that announcement, Darius Gray at 7:05 and a whole bunch more. We'll be right back.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit LawyerLisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, that song can only mean one thing here on Sports Talk. That means football season is back, and that means Lee Sterling is back with us once again from ParamountSports.com. Another season of Sterling picks, and welcome in, sir. It's great to have you with us. I know that you are rested, and you are tanned, and you are informed, and you are educated, and you're ready to build on another winning season from last year with another winning season this year.
Sounds like you're buttering me up like my daughter did before the wedding. So my oldest daughter got married. So,
oh, you're broke.
Congratulations.
So you're broke.
Oh yeah. No. I got rid of one. So.
Oh, okay.
She's not. No, I'm actually very, very happy. She married. She was the one that was the cheerleader at Miami. She married a former Canes football player, and he's an attorney now. And you know, when she calls, I say it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah, you got somebody else to take care of her now.
That's right. Someone asked me, "How do you like him?" I said, "Probably a lot more than I liked her." So
that's the way it works. You move them on down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get your thoughts on a game this weekend and anything else, let's tell everybody how they can dial into your stuff throughout the season.
Well, they can always go to the website, ParamountSports.com. It's our 32nd year in business, and 130 the last 31 years. And if you're looking for someone who's honest and can win for you, we might be what you're looking for. We have a phone service. You call in daily. You get every single game on a tape, and we rate them from 10 to 50 units. I'm a former, if you're not familiar with me, a former college football player, quarterback, and this is all I do. And have a great staff of 9 that help me out. And like I said, if you want to check us out and are interested, go more to the website. You can read all the different options we have. We have 2 this week. If you want to try out a UFC card, We've won 10 of the last 13 cards. 3 selections. It starts at 3 a.m. tonight from China. 3 selections, normally $33. Use coupon code SAVE30, $3. Save 30, $3. Or you want to try us out in football for 6 weeks through the end of September. We call it September to Remember. Use coupon code SAVE100, just $497. Comes out to about $80 a week. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Excellent. Well, we got a handful of games, college games. Stanford's out at Hawaii, Sam Houston at Western Kentucky, Fresno State, Kansas, Idaho State, UNLV. And UNLV will be something to watch with Dan Mullen out there and some of the players he's picked up. But the game you want to talk about matches a couple of top 25 teams, Iowa State, Kansas State, kicking off at noon on ESPN on Saturday out in Ireland.
Yeah, and these two teams, it's crazy. Usually we're deciding is Notre Dame, they're playing Army. Are they going to win by 4 or 5 touchdowns? First time we've ever seen two 25 teams matched up this early in week 0. Now, Kansas State's the favorite by 3, and I think a lot of people thought Iowa State was going to be the favorite because they won 4 of the last 5 in the series and covered all 5. And I looked at the schedules from last year, and Iowa's was rated 34th hardest, Kansas 38th hardest. And what surprised me here, though, was that the Wildcats were actually better in almost every metric except for record. Last year, Iowa State went 11-3, Kansas State 9-4. So I was shocked that Kansas State outgained their opponents by 83 yards per game. Iowa State just 62. So why did Iowa State go 11-3 and Kansas State 9-4? I think the main reason was Iowa State was +9 in turnover ratio, Kansas State -1, surprisingly, after going +11 and +12 the last 2 years. I think this comes down to quarterbacking. I think Avery Johnson for Kansas State, just a little more explosive running the football. And usually when you see a 10-11 win team, they've got, 30, 35 sacks. Iowa State just 16 sacks last year. Kansas State had 35. They're better at creating havoc. I like Kansas State. I think the right team's favorite, 27-20.
All right, going to roll with the favorite to open things up this season. Thoughts on South Carolina and Clemson, and we'll dive into them, of course, in detail next week. But thoughts on them coming off the preseason? A lot of hype, a lot of smoke being blown both ways. Legit, in your opinion, that these two can play their way into the postseason, into the playoffs?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot easier for Clemson. First off, they're playing a much easier conference, and I think their talent level is much higher. So, the only thing that I question here with Clemson, they've got to be better as far as stopping the run. Last year, allowing the surprising 4.7 yards per carry, and it hurt them. They got into postseason and just couldn't do much as far as stopping the run, and so that's going to have to improve if they want to go deeper in the playoffs. But I think they're going to be a playoff team, so they should be a fun team to watch. Watch September 13th. I think that's the big game. Georgia Tech, one of my sleepers this year. I think they're under the radar. Actually, one of my strongest bets as far as win totals. So I'm looking at Georgia Tech to be one of the toughest teams. And South Carolina is a lot of, hype here. But I think Lenore Sellers is a great talent. But there's some times for a half, he cannot be real accurate. And they're going to have to get more for their running backs this year. They're going to have more balance, keep the defense off the field. I thought they caught a lot of teams last year at the right time. So not quite buying the South Carolina hype. I'm all in on Clemson, though.
All right, very good. And next week we'll get your thoughts on those games, Clemson, LSU, South Carolina, Virginia Tech. And anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. It's going to be a fun season. This might be one of those seasons in the SEC and some of the other conference. I don't know about the ACC, but the SEC, Big 12, and maybe even Big 10. We might come down to the last week and have 3 or 4 teams tied, and that's what people love. And hopefully one of your teams is down this way. Looks like my daughter might sing the national anthem for the quarterfinal game for the Orange Bowl game. So the Orange Bowl has 2 of the games this year, the quarterfinal game on January 1st at noon and the title game a couple weeks later.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
well, we are so happy to have you back with us again here on Sports Talk. Normally, this was unusual because we have that announcement at 7:05, so normally you'll be with us at 7:05. We just moved it up tonight because of the special occasion. Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
You too, Phil. Take care. Good night.
Thank you. Lee Sterling, Sterling Picks, ParamountSports.com. So he likes Kansas State as the favorite to win that opener. You agree?
Yeah, they were at 2.5, 3.5 point favorite. Sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea at this point in time, and we have to educate Lee that we are not going to continue to allow for the dumbing down of the United States. We are not accepting week 0. This is week 1. Tomorrow is week 1.
I agree with you, but we're on an island pretty much by ourselves. I mean, that's what they call it. You have to call it what they call it, and that's what they call it. That's how they identify it.
It's week 1. The first games have to be played on week 1. Same thing with the high schools.
Well, I mean, 0 is a number, is it not?
No, but what's its value? Its value is 0.
Well, but I mean, it's a number. I mean, it is. You can assign it. But
like its value is 0.
You can't have 10 without play. 1 and a 0.
But you can't play anything physically on a 0.
I looked it up. 0 is a number, but it represents an empty quantity. So no, you cannot play on a week 0. It just doesn't make sense. I agree with Bergie. Not that my matters.
I agree. I'm just saying we're beating our heads against the wall here as we do on many things that we disagree on that's happening in the sports world. But you can't do anything about it. They call it week 0. It's week 0. But if you call it week 1, you're going to throw everybody off who's looking at a schedule and it says week 0, da-da-da-da-da. And you're saying, well, it's week 1. You're going to confuse everybody. See, I've given in, and I call it week 0 just to stay on the calendar.
I shall not. I will not continue to help the dumbing down of the United States. There are certain things that I'm a
so next week when you're doing Coastal Virginia,
week 1,
and that's week. Okay, all right, that's week 1. No,
that's week 1 for Coastal.
Yeah, so they're calling this weekend week 0.
Mm-hmm.
You're referring to this weekend as week 0 for the colleges, just like the high schools.
No, it should be week 1 for all the teams that are playing.
Yeah. Well, it's week 0. We have to live with it. We have to live with it.
I don't have to live with
it. There have been a number of postponements tonight. David Shelton, we're not going to postpone him. He's coming up.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. On and off rain this evening, followed with a low of 72. Tomorrow, it's more showers throughout the day to go with a mild temperature of the 80 as our high. For Sunday, it's a bit nicer, but still more clouds than sunshine and a high back up to 87. We are dry and a little bit cooler next week. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered National Guard troops to start carrying firearms while patrolling the streets of Washington for President Trump's law enforcement crackdown. The Defense Department didn't offer any other details Friday about the development or why it's needed. Hegseth referred to it as common sense. A tour bus returning to New York City from Niagara Falls with 52 people crashed and rolled Friday on an interstate highway, killing and injuring multiple passengers, according to police. The bus apparently lost control on Interstate 90 near Pembroke, about 25 miles east of Buffalo. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 846 points. The Nasdaq rose 396. More details at srnnews.com.
Hey, it's Kev. I'm hanging out with Ken, the owner of Broker Solar, a local company. Now, Ken, I know you have some solar pet peeves. These national guys, they're just not very honest.
One of the common myths in the solar industry is that you can get solar for free or some kind of government-paid solar, and that's simply not the truth. But what you can get is a solid investment that has tax credits that will pay you back for years to come. That's one of the things that we promote at Broker Solar is proper education in what solar is and how you can take advantage of the incentives that are out there, local and federal.
Tell me more about these tax credits.
There's currently a huge federal tax credit that gets you a third of the system cost back. And on top of that, the state of South Carolina, we're lucky enough to have an extra 25% of that solar system cost come back to you in the form of tax credits, totaling for a 55% discount on your solar system back in tax credits.
Call Broker Solar. Call them now, 803-807-7417 or online, brokersolar.com.
Palmetto State Armory is on a mission of making freedom available to all Americans. And with retail stores across South Carolina and a fully stocked online shop, we're delivering freedom coast to coast. PSA is an American-made and veteran-owned firearms company built for those who believe in the Second Amendment and the strength of self-reliance. From suppressors, firearms, ammo, and accessories to fishing gear and apparel, we're more than a gun company. We're a movement. Visit us in store or online at PalmettoStateArmory.com. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Turning face to stars and stripes, it's fighting back them butterflies, it's calling in the air, alright, yes sir, we want the ball. And it's knocking heads and talking trash, it's slinging mud and dirt and grass, it's I got your number, I got your back, when your back's against the wall. You mess with one man, you got us all. The boys of fall.
Indeed, the boys of fall are back on the high school level in most of the state. Not so fast in the low country because the weather down there pretty rough. But we got the man down there who weathers it all in the low country. He is known as Best in Business. David Shelton, High School Sports Report, the Charleston Post and Courier, back with us again for another football season here on Sports Talk and the High School Football Scoreboard. David, welcome in. Great to have you with us once again. How are you?
Kind of wet, but doing great.
Good. How bad is it down the Charleston area with this weather? Everything being wiped out?
Oh yeah, they're dropping like flies now. I know of, I think maybe Irmo and Oceanside are still playing. I don't know how, because the flooding is ridiculous, and the Citadel always floods on a thunderstorm, much less 6 hours of rain. So downtown Charleston is underwater. I've seen video clips of over near Somerville and that area where water is everywhere. That's why most of the teams that are canceling are postponing or going to Monday because tomorrow is not going to be any better. It is a lot of rain.
So this isn't one of those cases where we complain about a couple of drops forcing a postponement. This is, honest to God, real flooding. This is Noah Ark type stuff. So there's a good reason to put these games off.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest reason in my mind is, one, who wants to come sit in a stadium when it's raining, because it's supposed to be raining like all night, and two, you're putting kids on a bus and there's water on the road it's not, it's just not, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, this is not a thunderstorm came through and everybody's canceling. This is a weather event. This is the major rain. I think they said downtown's gotten over 3 inches this afternoon, which is a record for this date.
Ooh, good grief.
Well, assuming, and Lou Bajak of the state, same as you, he stated the Irmo Oceanside Collegiate game right now still on. So let's assume that game is going to be played. A great early season matchup between the two teams that are two of the best in their respective divisions here. So, and this Irmo team just looks loaded with college talent. Now, they do lose their quarterback from last year. They lose their outstanding receiver, but they make up for it in other ways.
Yeah, I mean they're a program. They're not a one-hit wonder. And just like Oceanside, these two teams are going to be playing deep into November. You can bet on it. And last year Irmo spanked Oceanside pretty good, and 2 days later the coach resigned. So it was a good old-fashioned butt cutting. I don't think it's going to be that way tonight. I think Oceanside's much better prepared, and A.J. Brand is not running around and throwing the football for Irmo. Right? Now, Irmo's still got some good people. I mean, they're still Irmo. But, when you lose a quarterback like A.J., I mean, I think he accounted for like 56 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. And Oceanside's quarterback is back. So I think it'll be a very competitive game. I think Irmo can. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if either team won. I mean, I would be surprised if it turned into a blowout. But the winner, it could be either team.
Mm-hmm. Chatting high school football with David Shelton. Don't forget tonight the high school scoreboard show comes your way at 10:05. Phil and David will handle that through the evening. And David, first off, what kind of challenge are Camden and White Knoll facing? They moved the game from tonight to last night so they could avoid the weather. Ironically, the weather hits them, and now they've got to finish the game tonight. So you played a half last night, now you get another half tonight. I mean, for football teams, they don't normally play back-to-back. So what kind of difficulties do you think that's going to present for both teams?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, I think if you get a half in, you just call it and say we had more points than you, so we win. Now maybe if you come back in a couple of days, because right now the rule is on practices and scrimmages, you can't do it within a 3-day period. Well, what's different about the regular season? You can play on Thursday and come back and play on Friday. You can't do that. You can't do that in the preseason. So, teams that play in jamborees, I mean, my jamboree got affected by this. They play a half, and then 2 days later they go play a scrimmage. Well, that's illegal. You can't do it. So, I'm not a big fan of that. I think, maybe they screwed up by moving it last night. I don't know what the weather is like in the Midlands, but I'm almost of the point of, if you don't play on Friday night, you play Monday, and if you can't play Monday, you bang it. You just forget about it.
Couple of games. I know Phil has a few more he wants to hit on as well. I'll throw two at you and then let it go back to Phil. First off, in the upstate tonight, really good rivalry, Clinton and Woodruff. And then over here in the PD, you've got South and West Florence playing one another. Normally that was at the end of the season, but now with the two teams in different classifications, they're playing to open up the year. What are your takeaways for both of those games?
Well, the South-West game is going to be really good. South Florence is rolling. They'll be in the hunt. Again, West Florence has got a new coach in Chad Wilkes. who a lot of people think very highly of. I think that'll be a very competitive game. I like South. I mean, I think South Lawrence is, at this point, I think they're in better shape. And then, I mean, what can you say about Clinton Woodruff? I mean, Woodruff is the better team, but I've seen a few Clinton Woodruff games back in the 90s, and the best team didn't always win. So that'll be a knockdown, drag out type. That's like a Thanksgiving family affair football game in the backyard.
And also, as we look at some of the better matchups here in, week 0, it is week 0. We got a lot of I can remember, David, when they started with week 0, how many years ago it was just a few teams. We had how many? We would do the show on that Friday night. We might have, 10, 15 games. I mean, we got a bunch that were scheduled. Now, I know several are going to be postponed, but I mean, it's like, let's get out there and let's play. Everybody's getting out there and jumping on it quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny that they still call it week 0, to be honest with you. I think they do that just to piss off Chris Bergen.
They do a really good job with that, David.
They're doing a good job.
But I understand why, and Phil, part of the reason they've gone to this is so that every team can have that bye week now, right before region play starts. So it makes sense. But yeah, just call it week 1 because you're right. I mean, virtually everybody's playing tonight.
Let's talk about Hannah and Burns. You know what Hannah's going to do, and this is the opening of the new stadium, the new Nixon Field. I guess they're still calling it Nixon. Are they still calling it Nixon Field? $30 million. I mean, it's supposed to be a beaut. What do you think of this one? Two outstanding teams. What do you think?
Well, I think Hannah is kind of a little bit in a rebuild mode, but I think they're still going to be Hannah. They're not going to change what they do. You got to tackle them because they're going to run the ball down your throat. And Burns is, 6 wins last year. Not what people are accustomed to. I think it's been. I don't want to say they haven't been relevant, but you haven't gone into a season in the last 3 or 4 years and thinking Burns is a team to beat. I think they need this win tonight to establish themselves as, hey, we are back. We're going to be a contender. And, certainly there's no reason why they can't. But, you beat Hannah. I don't care if it's week 1 or week 10. You've done a pretty good job.
Absolutely. Okay, David, we'll let you get back to your preparation for. So, are you headed out like to the Citadel, or are you just sitting everything out tonight?
No. I'm not going anywhere. No.
Nope.
I had 2 games planned. I hadn't chosen, and they both got banged, and I said, well, that's that. So I should be with you right at 10:05.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We'll lean on you heavily tonight. All right, have a good rest of your evening. Talk to you tonight, 10:05.
Thanks, David.
Okay, man. See y'all.
Thank you, buddy.
Phil,
David Shelton.
Excuse me. I'm looking at a video from Channel 2 down in Charleston, of downtown Charleston, right on Rutledge Avenue. And their car is trying to drive through what appears to be about a half a foot of water. I mean, it's insane how much water they've got down there. Scary.
Story out of USC from Jordan Kay of the state newspaper. This is not a good story. USC defensive line coach Travian Robertson in the hospital after a car accident this morning. He is in a room in the trauma ICU at Prisma Health Richland Hospital. Tony Morrell, the Big Spur, on a message board post this afternoon said Robertson was involved in a head-on collision and had to be taken to the hospital for immediate surgery on his ankle, is how he put it. And Shane Beamer texts the state when asked about Robertson. His quote is, "He's doing okay," end quote. So that is, first of all, you wish him, of course, the very best care and speedy recovery. And now if you're South Carolina, you're Shane Beamer, you're thinking, once you get past the health part, you make sure he's okay. You're thinking, okay, I may very well be without my defensive line coach this week going into our opening game. So some of the other coaches, some of those analysts and other assistant coaches on the defensive line got to step up and pick it up. The guy that works with him, I'd have to look up his name. I've seen him. If you're a South Carolina fan, you see him on the sidelines. I've seen him at games. He's very active. He's very vocal, very energetic. And in the practices that we got to see, some of the periods, I saw him working with Coach Robertson on defensive line. So it could be that individual. I have to look his name up, but it could be that guy, I guess, who would step up and handle the defensive line if Coach Robertson's not able to go. But that's too soon. I mean, here it is, Friday. I'm sure they'll have more. Certainly, they'll have more to say on this over the weekend or the first part of next week. So, hate to hear that. Wish him, of course, a speedy recovery there.
Absolutely.
All right, to the break we go, and we'll be back here on Sports Talk on this Founders Federal Football Friday night. Glad to have you with us. Founders Federal Football Friday, presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders. We'll catch you up on some other things after the break. Hit up a couple of text messages. And, of course, at 7:05, we're going to bring you the Darius Gray commitment announcement with the expectation it'll be South Carolina, but you never know. Be right back.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
Has your credit seen better days? At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. That's why we offer personal and auto loans that help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that sees more than just a number. You don't need perfect credit to start your next chapter. Visit foundersfcu.com or a local office today. Founders, helping you do life on your terms. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with the family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
It's Friday,
All right, back we are, Sports Talk Media Network. Here on this Friday night. Great to have you with us as you head into the weekend. Really your last weekend without the being overrun with football. You get a little taste of it this weekend. High school football, a little bit of college football, preseason NFL. Next week, of course, we're in it up to our ears with the colleges. Then the NFL will follow the next weekend. So it's here. I always say this, enjoy it, because you wait. It gets here, and before you know it, it's left us. It's moved on to the next season. So it goes by very quickly. You get so involved with it, the routine of football season, same thing that you do every week, the same day pretty much, unless the team is off schedule. The same press conferences on the same day of the next week. You just do the same routine over and over again, which I happen to like. I like the routine of football season, but it does go by so quickly. All right.
I think that's part of, excuse me, Phil, I think that's part of the attraction, too, of football is the fact that it's once a week. It's a relatively condensed period of time. Now, the powers that be are trying to extend it all the way around so that they play from, January 1st to December 31st. But nonetheless, I think a lot of fans enjoy football just from a standpoint it's once a week, and I can devote all of my fandom and energy into once a week with my team.
Yes. To me, the build-up for football is what really makes it fun.
Agreed.
Like, I'm a Packers fan. No secret there. Really? And I enjoy the build-up during the week of leading up to that game on Sunday. Or maybe they play on Thursday. Or maybe they play on Monday. Whenever they have to be playing. I like the build-up. I like the idea of you got that one opponent you focus on for that week. You spend all your time strategizing and planning and getting your personnel right for certain situations. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about football is you got all that time to get ready for that one opponent. So, but the expectation, the build-up, obviously sometimes the game is a letdown because you don't win every time out. So that makes it a bit of a letdown. The Tour Championship happening not too far from me over at Eastlake here outside of Atlanta, actually over Norcross, outside Dunwoody, whatever suburb you want to use over there in Atlanta. Eastlake Golf Club. They do call it Atlanta. Tommy Fleetwood is on top now, a 63 today. And also Russell Henley is also on top. They're tied for the lead after a 66. Henley is 61 to 66. Of course, Henley's a Georgia grad, so he's got the Bulldog supporters behind him. Tommy Fleetwood, Russell Henley, they're tied at 13 under. Cameron Young had a 62 today. He's at 11 under. Robert McIntyre and Patrick Cantlay, they are next at 10 under. A pair of 66s there. Scotty Scheffler had a 63 yesterday, 69 today. He's at 8 under. He's probably right where he likes to be. Just kind of hanging in there, 6th place, under par, no trouble. Knows he can go really low if he has to. Rory McIlroy's tied for 7th. He had a 67 today. He's 7 under par. Jacob Bridgman had his second straight 67. He is 6 under. Andrew Novak had a 68. He is 2 under. Justin Rose had a 70. He's 1 under. No cut here. It's a 30-man field. There's no cut. Victor Hovland just shows you about golf. You got J.J. Spahn, a major winner. You got Victor Hovland, who is one of the world's elite. You got Justin Rose. They're all tied for last at -1. So, you just never know. Just never know week to week.
Wouldn't it be a great story? Now, the winner of this wins the FedEx Championship, correct? I mean, this is like NASCAR. It's whoever, NASCAR, yes. Whoever finishes.
You're crowned the FedEx champion,
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tommy Fleetwood's yet to win on the PGA Tour. Would it be a great story if he wins this weekend?
Yes, it would. And there's not a lot of there's been some uproar over that decision too.
Yeah,
to
I understand.
Proclaim the winner of this event as the season-long champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, if you're going to have a playoff, I mean, you might as well have the ultimate event crown your season champion, should you not?
I agree. I mean, if you're going to have a playoff, the guy who wins the last playoff whatever should be the champion. Now, nobody's going to argue that Tommy Fleetwood had a better year than Scotty Scheffler. But, I mean, in this current format, Scheffler knows this, and he's going to win. And he probably will, knowing him. But Tommy Fleetwood's been so close for so long, it would be ironic that his first win on the PGA Tour is the Tour Championship. Yeah.
I don't think these big-time golfers sweat whether or not they win the FedEx Cup or the Tour Championship. I mean, they got 5 things on their mind this year: the 4 majors and the Ryder Cup. Maybe you could say 6 things if you want to throw the Tour Championship in there, the Players Championship. I mean, here we are speaking for them. You don't think they want to win the $10 million? Certainly they want to win the $10 million.
That'd be nice,
but still, in terms of prestige, they know where the prestige is, and that's the 4 majors and the Ryder Cup. Well, we have some text messages in here with us on Sports Talk, brought to you by our good friend Larry Lucas at Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia. Also, the sponsor of our poll question. Call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance needs. By the way, the poll question finished up 64.8% of the voters believe the NCAA will ultimately approve eligibility for Rasul Faison at South Carolina. 35.2% of the votes do not believe he will get approved by the NCAA. And as of today, we still have no approval. Okay, Under Armour shoes. This is from the 803. Under Armour shoes were a cause of numerous foot problems that affected the football program. Not claiming it was a reason for game losses, but they caused injuries. Okay? I mean, I could see that's possible. It's possible to have a shoe that's not comfortable, doesn't work for you. That could cause some problems.
I don't know how a fan would find that out unless they're medical staff at USC that could prove that. But, okay.
Another from the 803. When will USC start wearing the Nike apparel? It'll be next year. Goes into effect with the next academic calendar, 2026, 2027, next year. Okay, be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is threatening to remove the mayor of Washington, D.C., White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
After ordering a federal takeover of the D.C. police force, the president is boasting about a safer nation's capital, and he has a warning for Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser.
It was unsafe, it was horrible, and Mayor Bowser better get her act straight or she won't be mayor very long, because we'll take it over with the federal government, run it like it's supposed to be run.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon has ordered National Guard troops patrolling the streets of D.C. to start carrying firearms. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The FBI this morning began searching the home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton as part of an investigation into classified records. When asked about the search of his ex-National Security Advisor's home, President Trump says he knows how it feels to have your home raided.
But if you believe the news, which I do, I guess his house was raided today, but my house was raided also, called Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could, including my young son's room and my wife's area. They went through her drawers, as the expression goes.
Bolton served during President Trump's first term, but has been a fierce critic of the president in recent years. A tour bus returning to New York City from Niagara Falls with 52 people crashed and rolled Friday on an interstate highway, killing 5 and injuring multiple passengers. The bus apparently lost control on Interstate 90 near Pembroke, about 25 miles east of Buffalo. People inside were ejected as the windows shattered. A good day on Wall Street with the Dow up by 846 points. The Nasdaq rose 396. The S&P advanced 96. More at townhall.com.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. No application fee if you apply by September 3rd. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Everybody is keeping an eye on the Fed and how an interest rate cut might affect gold prices. Gold has been hovering at around $3,400 an ounce for the last 2 months and is poised for dramatic growth with the next interest rate cut. If you have a qualified IRA or 401k, you could receive up to $10,000 in free gold and silver when you open your retirement account with Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000 now or visit AdvantageGold.com and get your free gold IRA guide. Consult with your financial and tax professionals before making investment decisions. Call 800-900-8000.
Israel issues a warning to Hamas as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu approves a takeover of Gaza City. Correspondent Lawrence Brooks reports.
Israel's defense minister has warned that Gaza City could be destroyed unless Hamas accepts Israel's conditions to end the war. His comments come a day after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would allow the military to mount a major operation to seize Gaza City. Netanyahu added that negotiations would also restart with Hamas, aimed at returning all the remaining hostages and ending the war on Israel's terms. The wide-scale operation in Gaza City could start within days. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
Canada is dropping retaliatory tariffs to match U.S. tariff exemptions for goods covered under the United States-Mexico-Canada Trade Pact. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. If he hadn't...
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. On and off rain this evening, followed with a low of 72. Tomorrow, it's more showers throughout the day to go with a mild temperature of 80 as our high. For Sunday, it's a bit nicer, but still more clouds than sunshine and a high back up to 87. We are dry and a little bit cooler next week. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make the point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back. Phil Kornbluth, Chris Bergen, and the plumber Josh Cohen. Darius Gray about to make his announcement. Are we ready to go back to it, plumber?
No, sir. They are still getting prepared.
Okay. They're still in their commercial break. They opened up with conversation between the hosts and Darius Gray, and they were going to go to him to give the announcement, but first they had to go to commercial break. So while they're in commercial break, we'll hold it here until they go back to him for the announcement. This is Darius Gray, offensive guard out of Richmond. It's South Carolina, Clemson, Ohio State, Tennessee, and LSU. South Carolina has been on him a long, long time. They offered him back in 2022. He's been to a lot of camps at South Carolina. He has built up a strong relationship with Shane Beamer and Lonnie Teasley. He also took official visits to Virginia Tech and Virginia, Georgia, Clemson, Tennessee, Ohio State, and LSU. South Carolina did get that last official visit back on June the 20th. And so they got the last chance in person with him. Of course, over the phone here the past many weeks, all these schools have been working him very, very hard to try to convince him. The way this thing has kind of ebbed and flowed, South Carolina looked pretty strong with him early on in the recruiting process.
You okay, Phil?
Oh, I thought I had dropped.
No,
Am I still with you?
Yeah, you've been here the entire time.
Oh, good. I looked over. I thought I had dropped for a moment. As I was saying, South Carolina was strong with him early on in the recruiting process, and then LSU and Tennessee seemed to make a pretty strong run at him over the last few weeks. But the projections have been for South Carolina here of late. So where are we in this process? Are we ready to go back to him?
I think just a few more moments are coming back, and just a few. So I think I guess just keep talking. I don't know.
Okay. Bergie, do you want to give – Bergie, you've never given a projection. Do you want to give a projection?
Well, I was looking to see if Steve Wiltfong had changed his prediction right before he announces, and Wiltfong still is sticking with the Gamecocks, so I'll go with him until he announces something different. I do find it fascinating. I think it's the new world that we're in with regards to recruiting and announcements, that this kid's big moment is being held up by some advertising dollars.
Yeah. Well, kids can appreciate that, considering these advertising dollars, eventually trickle down to them in the form of NIL. We pick on Wiltfong because, or any of them, not just him, but any of them that flip-flop on these projections. He actually projected South Carolina as the favorite to get Gray back in August of 2024. Just going back here and looking at my notes, he had already he was picking South Carolina back then, but then he switched. Then he switched to LSU back in May. He switched to LSU, and then just I think yesterday, day before, he made the projection to South Carolina. So interesting.
All right, Phil.
I don't know how well. Let's go to it.
Let's go to it.
Yeah, go to it.
No more commercial breaks. We've got the 5 finalists: Clemson, LSU, Ohio State, South Carolina, Tennessee. Tell everybody where you're going to play your college ball, my friend.
Yeah, well, first I want to thank everybody for coming out. St. Kittsburg, to me, has been very supportive of me and my family, and we have a lot of love for all you. To my teammates and coaches, I wouldn't want to do my last year with y'all. With anybody else, I got love for every single last one of y'all, and I'm excited to get after it after today. To my family, I got 2 of the hardest working people in my life right here, and to see that every day, it means everything to me, and it kind of gives me my work ethic. My brother, to see him change paths and continue to wake up every morning and just go after it, that just helps me a lot. Coach Dan, I know you were here somewhere, but ever since 8th grade, 7th grade, we've been getting after it, man, and I'm so happy that I can call you a brother and a friend, more than a trainer. Coach Bland and Coach Keefe, man, y'all got after me in the weight room, and I'm very excited for it, so I want to thank you all. But with that being said, I want to thank God. God has done a lot for me, and I just thank him for all of it. Without him, I wouldn't be here. But to my future teammates and coaches, I make this promise. I promise that I'll be the best I can be day in and day out to the best fan base in the country. I'll be the best I can be on and off the field. And to my family, I'll continue to make you all proud. And with that being said, God has led me to the University of California.
He sits down with a Gamecocks hat, so he sits down with a hat that has a Gamecock on it.
What a huge pickup for South Carolina.
All right, there you go. It got kind of warbled there at the end. I wasn't watching it, so the words didn't come out very clearly to me. Could you hear it clearly? And of course, you're watching this, so you saw him put the hat on. So he picked South Carolina. Let's go back to it for a moment, Plummer, as he talks about why he picked South Carolina here. Let's see if they do that.
Yes, sir.
All right, Darius, in the end, why South Carolina? How did they get it done?
Yeah, Coach Beamer, kind of speaks for himself. What he's building and everything he's doing, why not come be a part of that? And they have the best fan base in the country. So to do everything I can for them to help win the national championship, I'll give it my all.
Before I know you want to go celebrate, I want to ask you a little bit more about head coach Shane Beamer. I talked to a lot of people, and they said that you were a huge priority for him, but he's making everybody a priority. This is now the 4th top 100 prospect heading to play for South Carolina. Why is that such a special relationship with you and your future head coach?
It means everything. He kind of is the program, and everything else trickles down. So just to have that in the building, and I know I could call on him anytime, and I'll do everything for him. I'll go to war for him. So I'm just excited.
5-star offensive lineman Darius Gray, the newest South Carolina Gamecock. Congrats again, and thank you for doing this with 24/7 Sports and CBS Sports.
Okay, there you go. Darius Gray announcing for South Carolina today, picking the Gamecocks over, looked like LSU probably finished second, LSU, Tennessee. You know, Clemson was there. I never got the feeling that Clemson was all that strong with him. After the official visit, never got the feeling that they had made a big move with him, and Ohio State was the other. So, Bergie, I mean, when you got schools like that going after you, I don't need any kind of a rating service to tell me that the people who make a living to judge these guys believe that he's got talent, he's got a chance to be a really good player at the collegiate level and possibly move on. So think about this. South Carolina next year, of course, you got to see what who comes back and all this sort of stuff. But I mean, and you don't want to project a high school guy now coming in next year as a true freshman. But you could have, you know, Thompson at one tackle, Gray Thompson at one tackle, Henry at the other tackle, and then you could have Gray working in rotation at either guard or center. I believe he can play some center as well. Really going to bolster the interior of that offensive line.
I've always been fascinated, and again, I think this is why we as Sports Talk, and certainly you leading the way, is taking the approach, don't put stars on these kids. Who's going after him? That's how you can sort of value how talented the young man is. But I'm fascinated as to how you can figure out an offensive lineman that spot in general, whether it be guard, tackle, or center, and label him as the number one offensive lineman in the 26 class. Sounds awesome. I'm just curious as to what he does that separates. I mean, I could watch. You know, you can see Jadeveon Clowney, you can see Cade Klubnik, and you can understand their skill sets. I'm not so sure because I'm a novice offensive line fan, if you will. I'm just curious as to what he does that separates him from every other interior offensive lineman in the 2026 class.
You know, I'd imagine it's his athleticism. It's his strength. Seems like a very smart kid. He seemed a little tight in this conversation that he just had with these guys as he was announcing. But it sounds like he's got a great personality. When we talked to him, we interviewed him earlier this week, he said he wanted to major in communications and broadcasting. So he's got a really good, comes across with a really good personality from that standpoint. And so the up and down of recruiting as that game is played, you know, the Gamecocks took a shot this week when they lost a commitment, Kamari Blair, offensive tackle. He decommitted and committed to Tennessee. But they finished the week very strongly with this young man. That gives them 15 total commitments, and that gives them 3 on the offensive line. All big guys. Anthony Baxter from South Point, 6'3", 335. Zion Giles from Carver's Bay, 6'5", 290. I saw some video of Zion Giles from a Jamboree. It kind of reminded me of the scene in The Blind Side, where the guy is blocking, and he keeps blocking the guy, and he blocks him all the way through the end zone. Well, there's video where Giles is blocking a guy, and he's blocking him all the way into the sideline. I mean, just going. Yeah. So he's supposed to be very good as well. 6'5", 290. Baxter, 6'3", 335. You know, Gray will probably play at 300+ by the time he comes in and gets on their meal plan and gets in their weight room. He's probably going to play, bigger than the 280, 290 he's listed at now. So that's 15 commitments for the Gamecocks in this class, and this is one of the, if you go by the reputation, this is one of the more highly acclaimed members of the class, picking the Gamecocks, Darius Gray. And, of course, you got to consider the competition. You know, if you're South Carolina, you say, look, man, we just beat Clemson. We just beat LSU. We just beat Tennessee. We just beat Ohio State. And that's just not lip service. All those schools wanted him. You know, they did. All those schools, those were legitimate. He was a legitimate take for all the big-time schools in the country.
How much do you think the perceived already commitment of Darius Gray a couple of days ago may have played an impact on the Blair decision to decommit and then commit to Tennessee?
Oh, not at all. 2 different positions, probably. Yeah, Blair's a tackle. Blair's a tackle. I'm sure being in the state of Tennessee, this is why South Carolina's still holding out hope on the Watkins kid up at Northwestern who committed to Texas A&M. Or was it Texas? Texas A&M? Texas A&M. I'm sure they're still holding out hope for him down the road if they can get him in for some games. And, the distance starts to wear on the local kid. Starts to realize, man, I got to go out to 1,500 miles to College Station when I can go right here 70 miles to Columbia and get the same thing and have the family here and be a home state hero. For some kids, that comes into play here, and that's why you'll see, you'll see a flip. And, of course, there's the financial considerations that will come into play as well. I mean, if what you're being promised at one school, even though it's away from home, is so overwhelming and it's guaranteed, it's so much more than anybody else is offering you, and if that's the important thing to you, so be it. If it's a transactional decision you're making versus an emotional decision, which a lot of these decisions have obviously become more transactional than emotional, which could mean at some point in time they come to their senses and realize, I can do quite well staying close to the home with my family and friends. So that's why you keep recruiting and you don't give up. And that's how Tennessee, no doubt, approached Blair.
Yeah.
Never gave up. And did they enhance their offer to him? Who knows? But no doubt having a chance to play for the Big Orange in Tennessee for a Tennessee kid, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Okay, so Darius Gray falls into the class for South Carolina. Recruiting report here on Sports Talk brought to you by Seawells. When planning that special event, whether it's a wedding reception or a birthday party or a corporate outing, whatever the case may be, make sure Seawells is the place you turn for all your help when it comes to catering. The best in the catering business for nearly 80 years. That's Seawells, 803-771-7385 online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. One other recruiting note from this afternoon, it's a basketball note, and Clemson is going to get an official visit from 6'4" Harris Reynolds of Atlanta, and that'll be next weekend. I'm sure basketball will have a bunch of guys in at Clemson next weekend for that big football weekend. He's also got official visits set with Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt, USF, VCU, St. Louis, and Texas A&M. That's according to Dushan London, who is a basketball reporter for 24/7 Sports. And that handles the recruiting report for tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. After the break, Jeff Owens will join us. It's the last race of the regular season. It should be a wild one at Daytona tomorrow night. Got just a couple of spots left to fill in the playoff grid. So there'll be some people just laying it out on the line to try to get that win. And you got a couple of other guys trying to hang in there on points. Talk about all that with Jeff coming up after the break.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at ExperienceColumbiaSC.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
Let's go racing, boys. Okay, we welcome in Jeff Owens in the fast lane here on Sports Talk. We wrap up the regular season. Jeff, great to have you with us. It's as simple as this. 14 spots are filled. Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, or an X-man is out there. Somebody just who's going to rise up and win this thing who doesn't have the points to get in. That pretty much sums it up for the last two spots?
Yeah, it does, Phil. Really, it's going to take somebody to win, I think. Alex Bowman's got about a 60-point lead right now over Chris Buescher for the last spot. I think that's pretty safe, even if he gets in trouble. But you do have several guys behind the cutoff who could easily win this race. Chris Buescher has won this race before to get into the playoffs. We saw Harrison Burton do it last year. He won this race. He got into the playoffs. You've got several guys back there, including Kyle Busch, who are very capable of winning this race to get in the playoffs. But I think that's what it's going to take. I think we're pretty set unless there's a new winner, and of course that guy's going to get in. So I think that's kind of what it comes down to.
And the nature of Daytona, if it comes down to the last 4 or 5 laps, they're all bunched up, and you got a non-winner in that bunch, but he's in the draft. I mean, anything can happen. You see so many unexpected winners win at Daytona. It wouldn't surprise anybody who might win that thing.
No, it wouldn't, and I think last year was a perfect example of that. I mean, Harrison Burton had never won a cup race, and in fact, he had already lost his ride for this season. And he rises up and wins that race, and all of a sudden he's in the playoffs. And it seems like this race in July, or back when it used to be in July, now in August, it's always lends itself to upsets for some reason. I mean, we've seen Austin do it a few years ago. He won this race to get in the playoffs. So it happens. So there's no reason it can't happen again. And I think it's going to be pretty wild when it gets down to the end.
Jeff Owens with us tonight in the Fast Lane, getting ready to run in Daytona tomorrow night, final regular season race before the action shifts here to Darlington next weekend. And Jeff, I always love the way NASCAR does this. The last week of the regular season, boom, we get the schedule release as well. So a lot of news coming out this week. Which are you more excited about, the fact that North Wilkesboro is getting a points race, or that Dover is hosting the All-Star race.
Yeah, that is certainly the two most surprising moves, I think, of the schedule. When I heard some of this, I was a little bit skeptical, kind of interested in what they were doing, and then when I looked at the schedule in its entirety, I actually kind of like it, and I think they've made some really good moves. I like giving Wilkesboro a points race. I think it would be a shame for them to do what they did to that track, give them the All-Star race, and not go ahead and get to this point and give them a points race. And I actually think a points race will work better for Wilkesboro than the All-Star race did. The All-Star race wasn't great there, even though we all love the idea of going back to Wilkesboro and the nostalgia and all that. The racing wasn't that great. I think it'll be better as a points race, so I'm good with that. Dover, the All-Star race is kind of weird. That surprised a lot of people. But we'll see how it goes. I am happy that Dover is still on the schedule. I think that's what it came down to. Dover was either going to come off the schedule or they were going to have to take the All-Star race. And I do not want Dover to go away. I think that's a very important market. I think they got a great fan base up there. I'm glad it's still here. So that'll be interesting. And then the other one, the Chicagoland race, we're going back there. I like that too. I'm glad we're staying in Chicago, but we're going away from that street race.
Jeff, should we read anything into the fact that, once again, Daytona is the final regular season race, Darlington is the first playoff race? Do you think NASCAR has figured out something here and they may be plugged in? That's how they want to continue doing things? Let Daytona be the cutoff race and Darlington the first playoff race moving forward?
Yeah, I think they like that. I think the fans like that. I don't know about the drivers. I don't know that they like Daytona being that 26th race. But I think the fans love it. I think it's a perfect setup. Two of the most historic tracks in the sport, finishing the regular season and starting the playoffs. I think that's a perfect mix. The other thing I would like to see them do, I'd love to see a setup where maybe one round of the playoffs is all short tracks. Let's go to Bristol, Martinsville, and North Wilkesboro back-to-back in the fall. I would love that, but I think they've done a pretty good job. I do like that. The other big change, of course, is the championship race now is going from Phoenix to Homestead, and so we're going back to Homestead. We had some pretty good championship races there. That's another big change, too, so we'll see how long they do that.
As always, Jeff, thank you for joining us in the Fast Lane. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week for the playoffs.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
You too. That's Jeff Owens, and we'll be back with George.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. On and off rain this evening, followed with a low of 72. Tomorrow, it's more showers throughout the day to go with a mild temperature of the 80 as our high. For Sunday, it's a bit nicer, but still more clouds than sunshine and a high back up to 87. We are dry and a little bit cooler next week. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing the Wing and a Prayer Wednesday special. Purchase an order of wings and a drink and get a free gift card for the arcade. We have some of the most mouth-watering jumbo wings like flamethrower hot wings, barbecue wings, teriyaki wings, honey mustard wings, terry hot wings. You can get a half dozen for $9.95 or a dozen for $18.95. Served with celery and choice of dressing. So come join us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy some great jumbo wings and lots of fun in our new and improved arcade. And we at Flight Deck Restaurant thank y'all and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered National Guard troops to start carrying firearms while patrolling the streets of Washington for President Trump's law enforcement crackdown. The Defense Department didn't offer any other details Friday about the development or why it's needed. Hegseth referred to it as common sense. A tour bus returning to New York City from Niagara Falls with 54 people crashed and rolled Friday on an interstate highway, killing 5 people and injuring multiple passengers. The bus apparently lost control on Interstate 90 near Pembroke, about 25 miles east of Buffalo. Good day on Wall Street as the Dow was up by 846 points. The Nasdaq rose 396. The S&P 500 advanced 96. More details at srnnews.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
4. Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee, wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day. But it went straight down the middle, like they say. Whack down the fairway, it went smack down the fairway. Then it started to slice just a smidge off line. It headed for 2, but it bounced off 9. My caddy says long as
time to catch up with our man George Bryan III. Here on Sports Talk, our weekly session, Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps, and is brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports over in West Columbia. Make sure you check out all their great products on their website, which you can reach via our website. Just easy to go to SportsTalkSC.com and click on the Tsunami Bar Sports digital ad, take you right to their website, and you can shop online for all their tremendous products. You can also check out the educational video of George displaying the positive effects of using the Tsunami Bar and other similar items to improve your golf game and also to improve your overall health. It's not just golf, it's your overall health. And with that, George, welcome in. Great to have you with us. How are you feeling, sir?
Oh, I couldn't be better. And I like how just before we came on, Josh was just celebrating football season, which is my favorite time of the year, Josh.
I was going to say, you love football season. And why do you love football season so much, George?
I'm telling you, and it's not really good until Sunday ball starts, but the golf course almost is mine on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, and that's a fact. I don't care where it is, just about.
Now, this is a loaded question, would you rather go play 18 holes of golf on a perfectly nice, crisp fall afternoon? Would you rather do that, or would you rather sit at home in front of your big screen television and watch like the best football game, the best college football game of the season, whatever that happens to be? What would you prefer to do?
Both. See, I put that DVR thing on, or asked my wife to and I usually on those things, I just watch, I spin through those pretty quick. So I get to do both. I play golf by day and watch that, 20, 30-minute recap by night. And I don't listen to the music, radios, updates, stuff like that when I'm playing golf. Now, don't get me wrong, I love football, and I've already told you why.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel? Speaking of, there's some places that you go play golf, and some people will have music playing in their golf carts. I know you've heard it. How do you feel about that? People playing music in their golf carts while they're playing golf?
Well, Phil, first of all, I'm ADHD unmedicated, and there's a lot of stuff going on in my head. Always has been. And that's just one more thing to throw in there. And I don't mind it. I don't pay any attention to it. I got to thinking about that and how I might answer it if I ever was asked. I think you might be.
Well, you just were asked.
Never asked. And I'm so engulfed by how beautiful it is to be out on the golf course. And then you hear the birds and the squirrels and then there's chatter between the folks, and I don't like the really loud stuff, but I do like about all kind of music. If I got something going on in my head that might be louder than what's going on in their head, or out loud in the speaks, that's something else. And I don't like looking for the dadgum speakers in golf carts that are left at the golf courses, or the remotes or the receivers that go along with it. But I keep that music low, and if you need it, good for you. If you don't, good for you. I actually don't need any of that, and don't like all the extra stuff going on. I like just a golf course. Don't even like the whining golf carts if I can. And I'm getting a little older, so it's probably better to not beat up the golf carts too much. But I like just walking when my legs work, chasing that ball, hitting it, chasing it. Now I got to find it more often, but
not really, George. Come on. I don't think I've ever seen you miss a fairway.
Well, I wish that was true. It's not. And dadgummit, if you miss it with all this rain we've had lately, you might lose it in the rough. In fact, balls are being lost in the rough right now because that rough is so thick. And last week, you were very gracious. I was wandering around trying to figure out how to get the Wi-Fi plugged in. I didn't screenshot those results. We were talking some golf, and we always talk about the best in the world, and we fill those in. And, man, I tell you, I watched the playoff last week. Just watched it right in front of me at Salina Golf Club. And I knew first names, not doing the young men justice that made it through the Mid-Am qualifier. But I appreciate the opportunity to re-tee. And congratulations to Philip Owiga, Patrick Stevenson, and Jeffrey Long. Patrick and Jeffrey are both from South Carolina. In fact, Patrick's from Columbia. Jeffrey's from Murrells Inlet. Now, you might have picked me up and talked about it on Monday, Phil. I appreciate it if you did. Now, that was the Mid-Am qualifier at Salina. The Mid-Am qualifier that took place at Mid-Carolina Club, Brian Quackenbush of Aiken was medalist. Jared Howard, and also Chandler Mulkey. They all tied. Crawford Reeves was in that group from Taylor's, but apparently Crawford got the playoff spot, and then Ross Robinson would have been so Crawford and Ross Robinson were alternates, while Chandler Mulkey, Jared Howard, Brian Quackenbush all got these spots into the U.S. Mid-Am. And we had a pretty good senior qualifier going on at Lexington Country Club. And have you talked about all this? Am I being redundant?
No.
Repeating?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the Country Club of Lexington hosted the U.S. Senior Champion Qualifier and Senior Amateur Champion Qualifier. Let me see if I can pull those up.
While you're doing that, I'll give you another competition result, but you go ahead and look that up. But I'll tell you that earlier this month, they had the 50th Georgia and South Carolina Junior Challenge matches, and that was held at the Florence Country Club. And Team South Carolina emerged victorious, defeating Georgia 9.5 to 6.5. So once again, we proved to be the superior state in almost every way. I mean, who would not choose South Carolina over Georgia? Give you a few names here. You might know some of these folks. Let's see. Here. Hudson Hatch won his match 2-up. Banks Steele earned a 2-up win. Cade Kriskunas won 4 and 3. I'm thinking these are all South Carolina guys. You recognize any of these names?
I recognize just from looking at the rankings. I don't know them. Hadn't watched them play. Not yet.
How about Connor Wolf? You know Connor Wolf now. I think we've talked about him before, haven't we?
We have.
Connor Wolf won his match on Sunday. So anyway, congratulations to those folks, those kids. Are you familiar with this? I mean, it's been going on for 50 years, or the 50th time they've run it, this Georgia-South Carolina Junior Challenge. You don't mess with the juniors in South Carolina when it comes to golf, George. You just don't touch us.
Hey, for a long time, we've had one of the best, the strongest in the whole country, and absolutely, I watched those probably kept up with it, and we talked about it 20 years or so, and I haven't been to one of the matches in probably 10 years, and I do miss it. Charlie Roundtree, the Roundtree family. It was always a lot of fun watching how he would lead these young'uns along, and remember distinctly, in addition to the Georgia-South Carolina, we also have Carolina's Virginia matches that are a lot of fun, but these if you take North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, there's no question. We have some of the best kids in the whole world coming right out of this area, and unbelievable matches. At really nice golf courses. Where'd you remind me? Where were the matches played?
Florence Country Club.
Yeah,
a beautiful golf course. Yeah, love that golf course.
Jimmy Hawkins won the 1983 South Carolina Amateur at that golf course. And Wesley Bryan, when he earned his Web.com card at the time, he had to birdie the last hole to get through first stage qualifier there. And so Florence is absolutely one of the best golf courses in our state. And Steve Bear, his staff, all those folks over there do a great job. And
let's talk about. Go ahead.
Senior, I got to recognize senior amateurs over.
All right, go ahead.
Do it. And Joe Jackson,
do it.
James Pearson. These two guys are from North Carolina. Thomas Cornelia from Georgia. Mike Sposa from South Carolina. Spartanburg. He got a spot. Beat Robert Andrews in a playoff along with Harrison Rutter. So Robert Andrews out with he's called Grits at the Northwoods at the Spur. So got to watch out alternates get in, so we'll be pulling for those alternates, especially grits, to get in the USGA Amateur. That's first round start tomorrow. Go ahead, bring it up. Keep going.
Fantastic.
Phil.
I was going to talk about East Lake over here. I'm not too far from there tonight, George. I was not invited to participate in the Tour Championship over at East Lake. That is one gorgeous golf course, but it seems to be playing pretty easy. Or would you now? I don't. Could the conditions? Is it really soft? That's why these guys are going so low. Fleetwood had a 64-63. Henley a 61-66. Shoot, almost everybody. As I scroll through here, there's only been probably maybe 10 rounds in the 70s over the 2 days combined, and maybe everything else appears to be in the 60s. So I mean, they're lighting it up at this place for the championship.
Well, they're playing lift, clean, and well, I'm not going to say it, but lift, clean, and place. Ball in hand. Give those guys the ball in their hands and soft conditions, and as long, I mean, you just can't make it too hard for them, and that's what's happening. And I'm pulling for Russell Henley. He's a lot of fun. I watched him grow up. I think he's one of the best players that hasn't won a major yet, and he's in good shape. Obviously, the best player in the world is in good shape. It is. I like to see when we have a lot of players contending. That golf course is not that easy. They're making it look that way, though. It's just how good they are, Phil. Just how good they are.
Do you like the change that they made this year with the tournament, in that the tournament winner not only is the tournament winner, but is going to be the champion, the FedEx Cup champion for the entire season, instead of the FedEx Cup championship being determined on a points basis, a season-long points basis? It just comes down to who wins this tournament.
No, I don't like it at all.
Oh.
That's just, I mean,
well,
there's
why?
nobody else. I mean, for one event, I just like it when they do it an accumulative basis. I also kind of think they've made so many changes that I kind of get lost in trying to keep up with the changes and why. So you asked me, so I told you my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's why we pay you the big bucks.
I think there's one player that should just rake it and take it all, and his name is Scotty. So, and even if they'd have played like in the old formats, everybody else, they knew they had no chance. But I mean, that's kind of fun to have Scotty roll in and be able to waltz through and know. But anyway, that's what golf has turned into, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. Just a lot of change. And I guess we got to get ready to see more. I like to see some of the things that has been changed, like they've allowed this, what the PGA Tour U, and these college kids can filter out a lot quicker than the old system. It used to take several years before these great young players get out, but now that's changing. So that's one of the changes I do like. So
let me ask you, George Bryan, here on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps, brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports. Let's talk a minute more about what's coming to Salina this college season. Yeah, hosted by South Carolina. They're going to have a college golf tournament out at y'all's course, where your sons are going to be, I guess, serving as the host along with University of South Carolina's golf team. So we've talked, on this show, how many times have we talked about the idea of South Carolina Clemson, for example, hosting some of these events, and now they're going to do it. Is the primary reason this is happening is because of Salina and because of Wesley and George and their connection with the University of South Carolina golf program? Did they make this happen by using their contacts and also the development of this golf course, as great as this golf course has become?
Well, no, it's not because of George and Wesley. There's a whole group of folks behind it. Greg Middleton is the proprietor. But let's go back to the coach at South Carolina. We've had him on a number of times, and even though we hadn't been able to get Coach Bird on at Clemson, if you go back and look at the alum, the players, the athletic directors, it starts kind of there. And I know for a fact we've been talking about Bridgman. Jacob Bridgman is playing good from Clemson. So the alum, there's a lot more collaboration right now going on in golf. Usually our focus is more on the top levels, but I think it's really cool to see these young fellas that have gotten out. And if you go look at the Ben Martin and Carson Young, not sure, specifically who all, if you can point your finger at one of these former players or one of the coaches, but we got the best junior golf. I think we got, and it's proven we got some of the best college athletes and programs in the state. It's kind of natural to have some of the best events. We have great events in places like Arkansas. I mean, who wants to go to Arkansas? I'm just
well, now, I know.
Tell us. We ought to have giant events right here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, how far along are they in the planning stage here as far as do they know some of the other teams that are coming from the outside? And also, tell us more about what the golfers are going to find at Salina. I mean, the challenge they're going to find at that golf course. And how long will the course play, do you think?
Well, it'll play its length right at 7,000, and they will not be real friendly to these college athletes. Like the U.S. Mid, they had the U.S. Open qualifier. They had it, what I call it was sweet, tipped out, and professionals got in, and I would guess, well, it's going to play tough. We got more grass at the golf course now, and you can't do anything about the rain if the college staff that's running the event and the superintendent, if they have somewhat control over the dampness, it'll play extremely difficult, but fair. Mm-hmm. And before, I can't really announce because I don't know for sure. I haven't seen anything confirmed on who will be here, but I can tell you it will be quite a field. It'll be a spectacular field. It would include SEC and ACC teams. And then also I know there are a few smaller schools that'll be here. And we'll have the folks that are putting it together recognize the right people. Phil, I don't honestly know which teams. Nobody's confirmed anything with me, so we'll certainly have the host staff, somebody from the athletic department, if not George or Wesley, talk about some of these details you've asked. This way in advance, over a month out, so we got plenty of time, and we probably have to do a show out from Salina, a live one.
I would say so. Okay, before we let you go, we got about 4 minutes. Let's mention our fabulous sponsor, Tsunami Bar Sports, and the things that folks can go online on their website by simply going to our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and clicking on the link, and then you can view everything that they have to offer. But what are some of the standout items in your mind that folks can go online and purchase? And also, if they use that code, which is, what is it, GB? It's
punch in GB10.
GB10. Get 10% off. GB10. Yeah. Some of the hot items right now, what would you say they are?
Well, you can go on and check. There's for golf, and we're talking golf. Ken Taylor is part of our Tsunami Bar developmental staff. We've had Tsunami Robbie on numerous times, and Ken Taylor named the pattern support tools. One of the best parts about this technology is you can actually work on your golf swing with these tools. There are tools for the hands, speed sticks, tools mini stick that fits in the bag. I was just looking through my bag, and that mini stick fits right in, and you can warm your body up, get some blood flowing, but also work on specific areas of the golf swing with these tools. The multi-stick series, multi-stick light, which is going to be, that name will be called the golf bar. And so in addition to working on the golf swing, do it at home, warm that body up, you can get into some strength and conditioning. So the technology was invented in the Clemson weight room for football players. So we have the industrial strength, the big bars, Speed Force Max. So anybody out there listening that really likes to get into the muscle building process, which is, we're sneaking up on the off season. However, be careful. Fall is still what I call the best season to play golf. So hold off on the winter training. Stay in what I call the in-season training. Use the smaller, what we call the stick line. So the Laginator, if you're ready to mash that tater, really simulate what it's like to compress the golf ball, get you a Laginator. And they have couple different sizes. One fairly small and light for single-arm protocols, swing indoors. Again, you can warm up with the tools. So think about this. I know, Phil, you got some ideas you try to plug into when you plan your golf. Well, you can practice, you can visualize hitting a few shots with a Laginator. Trying to hit it low, you click late. If you want to hit it what I call high, click a little early. And practicing your driver, click right at the ball. You can even practice bunker shots with a Laginator. Even though you don't have a bunker, Richard McMahon was the first one to legitimize the Laginator. He came in and said, George, I hadn't been able to practice. I hurt my foot, but I got out in a chair and I was practicing in the backyard early clicking, and I was pretending while I started hitting the best bunker shots after using that Laginator that I've ever hit. So he pretended like he was practicing out of the bunker with the Laginator. So it's TsunamiBarSports.com. You can look at the tools. We call them pattern support tools, or they are strength and conditioning tools. I hear that music, and TsunamiBarSports.com. Plug in that GB10 for 10% off at checkout. And, hey, thanks for the mulligan on the results from last week. Look forward to more golf. Have a good weekend, Tim. High, but shoot 'em low.
Thank you, George. Great stuff as always. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Don't forget the high school scoreboard at 10:05. Thank you, Bergie. And thank you, Plummer. Have a great weekend, everybody.